orders, I'm quoting, irrigates the land of Palestine. And then further quotes, he talks about how the terrorists should strike them with knives and with their bare hands, and they're victorious. And he also encourages the use of rockets over there.
The best suggestion I have for you is to not drive on Warren Avenue, or to close your eyes while you're doing it. His name is up there, and I spoke at a ceremony celebrating it because he's done a lot for this community. And although you live here, I want you to know as mayor, you are not welcome here. And the day you move out of the city will be the day that I launch a parade celebrating the fact that you moved out of the city. Because you are not somebody who believes in coexistence. You're somebody who tries to preach it, but in fact you do everything but that.
So let's be clear. This isn't about one mayor versus one minister. This is about how American cities are quietly being reshaped into platforms for global ideology battles, and how elected officials, such as this mayor of Dearborn, can normalize radical figures by embedding them into something as permanent as a street sign. Naming a street after someone who celebrates Hezbollah, which is a terrorist group. Now let's talk about it. America has named streets after Americans who stood for positive reinforcement of American values. Naming the street after Osama Siblani suggests a violent movement against American Christians and Jews. He supports Hezbollah, which is an Iranian-backed group. This is very similar to what happened, I think, back in the 80s, I believe, in Richmond, California, when there was a push to name a street after Cuban dictator Fidel Castro. Now think about the parallels. Think about this comparison. Who was admired by some activists for standing up to the U.S., meaning you're admiring somebody who is going against the United States. The proposal faced huge backlash against Castro regime, was tied to executions, censorship, and repression. Ultimately, it was abandoned, but it showed how a local naming issue quickly became a national controversy. Just like this Dearborn case. This wasn't just about a street name. It was about whether America should ever honor someone connected to violent extremists or anti-American rhetoric. Osama Siblani supports Hezbollah, which is a terrorist organization. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that name correctly, but it's a terrorist organization. And here's the thing. What happened in Dearborn, Michigan should outrage every American. A Christian minister respectfully, now hear the word, respectfully raised concerns about a new street sign, honoring a man who openly praised Hamas and Hezbollah, terrorist groups that call for violence against Israel and the West. Instead of addressing the concern, the mayor told this minister he wasn't welcome into a city he lived, that he'd throw a parade the day he moved out. Did you see the aggression? Did you see the hate? Did you see the resentment? So think about it. That an elected official telling a citizen you don't belong here simply because he dared to speak up. And so this is what we're supposed to expect as Christians, that as soon as we speak up against something, we are immediately attacked. So let's listen to the rest of this video, and then we're going to get the discussion going.
I did not respond to the mayor with hate. He shut me down, like you saw. He was very angry. He said, "Get out of town," etc. I mean, he spoke for himself, so I don't need to repeat what he said. And I responded by saying, God bless you, Mayor. God bless you, sir.
Ari, what grace in that individual. What are your thoughts on this whole thing?
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of former governor, now mayoral candidate in New York, Andrew Cuomo. When he was governor, he told conservatives to leave New York State, if you remember that. If you don't agree with me, you're not welcome here, thinking that the left has. Bill Maher actually talked about this last week, that they won't break bread with you. They won't listen to you. They don't want you. Conservatives don't do that in equal number to the way the left does. There's a tolerance and acceptance, and there has to be. That is the hallmark of America, to accept our differences, debate our differences, and then try to unify as best we can while knowing we have differences. You can't do that as a mayor telling a constituent you don't belong here.
Exactly.
And especially after Charlie Kirk's death. I mean, what is the lesson that we should live in our lives, maybe change something about ourselves? Shouldn't it be to disagree respectfully with those we have other points of view?
Absolutely.
And Lisa, brass tacks here, in my opinion, it went even further than that. Here we have a respectful minister bringing to the city council's attention the fact that they are naming street signs after terrorist organizations' sympathizers. And the response by the mayor was, well, he's done a lot for the community, and I was there at the celebration. In no way even acknowledging the fact that this constituent was bringing up, essentially, here's an adjacent to the enemy of the United States, and then tells a Christian, a person of a different faith, you are not welcome here. This is a travesty, Lisa.
But the minister was also labeled a Islamophobe and, I think a fascist racist as well. So he was labeled other terms as well in addition to that. Yeah, bigot, a racist, and Islamophobe. So beyond just saying you're not welcome here, he was assigned some pretty terrible labels. And all he was pointing out is some of the words this individual they were trying to name the street after, saying, as we just heard there, talking about how the blood of martyrs irrigates the land of Palestine, whether we're in Michigan or whether we're in Yemen. Believe me, everyone should fight within its means. They'll fight with stones. Others fight with guns. Others fight with planes, drones, and rockets. That should concern everyone. And I think we're in this place as a country, and even just globally, we're having these conversations about, immigration, both legally and illegally. And now the mayor was born here in America in Dearborn, Michigan, but his parents did immigrate here, right? And we're seeing a larger percentage of the country, 15.8% of America now are foreign-born, both legal and illegal. And it just raises questions about what does this all lead to inevitably.
Establish a hub.
And, perhaps one point of concern is labeling streets after an individual who has said such hateful and terrible things.
And indeed, we celebrate diversity. Kennedy, the point is we don't celebrate terrorist adjacent people.
Exactly.
And what frightens me about the mayor's command to his constituent is that it's only going to make then clearly the anti-Semitic or pro-Hamas pool even thicker, even more concentrated if those that dare to advocate for peace and putting the United States interests first are cast out.
Yeah, it reminds me of Antelope, Oregon, when the Rajneeshis moved in. And, they did what I've been telling rational parents to do on school boards. Like, they ran for every seat on the city council and changed all the laws to benefit them, just assuming that anyone who opposed them would just throw up their hands and move out. And that's what this mayor wants. It's like Dearborn is 40% Muslim. It's like, okay, great, that's fine. I'm sure they have, bless you, a lot of lovely people there. Having said that, he had a horrible response. If you're telling a Christian minister, you're not welcome here, I'm going to throw a parade the day you moved out. And then he says he has the nards to say he doesn't know how to coexist. And it's like, and you do? Like, right. That's your big defense. It's like, move out. It's like,
it wasn't throw, it was launch a parade, by the way.
Flip this around. If a Christian mayor had said to a Muslim constituent, you're not welcome here, it would be leads and network stories everywhere.
Exactly, and rightly so. So where's the outrage here?
Also terrible. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, you go ahead. I was going to say terrible advice to say close your eyes while you're driving, too. Yeah. So, there's that. Worthless.
Why are we playing with hate? And why are people voting for people who are willing to play with hate? Because that's what he's doing. He's kind of trial ballooning whether or not he can quiet the people he doesn't agree with as a mayor, as an elected official, and seeing how far he can really push that. And seeing if some constituents will back him on that.
Yeah.
A road to hate. Hating Jews, hating whomever our enemies are, Hamas. It's not a safe place to be. It's free speech for that mayor if he wants to be. Let's hold him accountable for his words. And for those of you who live in his town in Michigan, if you vote for this guy again, you're like him.
That is such a great point. But everyone, family, I want to hear from you. Let me know what you think. I really want you to drop a comment in the comment section, and let's get this discussion going. Thanks again for tuning in, for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and hit the notification bell to receive immediate updates on the next video. Remember, remain curious and stay bold. Have a good evening, and I'll see you in the next video. And actually, we're going to continue this conversation in our midnight rampants segment that we're going to do every day at midnight. So join me again at midnight, and we're going to continue this conversation. Again, I'll see you later.